The wind across the Nevada high desert carried grit that could sand a man's soul down to nothing. Jedediah Crowe had felt it for 12 years, ever since the fever took his wife and boy in the winter of '87. His ranch, 30 miles from the nearest settlement of Austin, was nothing more than a low adobe house, a corral that leaned like a drunk, and 500 head of half-wild cattle. He liked the quiet. He told himself he needed it. One October morning in 1899, the quiet broke. Jed was riding the fence line along the dry wash when he saw something that didn't belong. A flash of pale cloth caught high in the branches of a dead cottonwood 20 feet up. At first, he thought it was a scarecrow some joker had strung up for meanness. Then the cloth moved. A girl no more than 15, hung by her wrists from a rawhide rope looped over a thick limb. Her bare feet dangled above the sand. She was sunburned almost black, lips cracked and bleeding. But her eyes, gray as winter rain, were open and fixed on him. Jed's first thought was Comanche raiders, though the tribes had been gone from these parts for 20 years. His second thought was water. He spurred his mare hard, reached the tree and drew his skinning knife. The rope was new, cut clean. Someone had done this, deliberate and recent. "Hold on, girl," he muttered, voice rough from disuse. She didn't answer. Her weight sagged as he sawed the rawhide. When the last strand parted, she dropped like a sack of grain. Jed caught her awkward across the saddle, her body hot as fresh bread. She weighed next to nothing. Back at the ranch, he laid her on his own cot, the one he hadn't shared with another soul since Sarah died. He dribbled water between her lips from a tin cup. She swallowed once, coughed, swallowed again. By nightfall, the fever broke, and color crept back into her face. Her name, she whispered when she could talk, was Clara Morrow. 2 days earlier, she'd been traveling by wagon with her uncle from Missouri to California. Gold. Rush streams still pulling. Folks west, even though the easy gold was long gone. 4 hard men on horseback had stopped the wagon at Red Rock Canyon. They shot her uncle for the $20 in his boot, took the horses, and decided the girl might fetch something in the mining camps farther north. When she fought, they hanged her in the tree as a lesson and rode off, laughing. Jed listened without expression, cleaning his Henry rifle while she spoke. When she finished, the only sound was the fire popping in the stove. "You got folks left?" he asked. "None that I know." He nodded once, as if that settled something. For weeks, Clara moved slow around the place, feeding chickens that had forgotten what a woman looked like, mending shirts with stitches neater than Jed's. At night she slept on a pallet by the hearth. He took the barn loft. Neither spoke of it, but the house felt less like a grave. Winter came early. Snow sealed the valley. One January night, the dogs barked fierce enough to wake the dead. Jed stepped onto the porch. With the Henry, 4 riders sat their horses. At the edge of the lamplight, same men Clara had described. Scarves high, hats low, the leader with a white blaze scar across his cheek. "We come for what's ours, old man," Scar-Cheek called. Jed thumbed the hammer back. "Nothing here belongs to you." Clara appeared beside him, small but steady, holding his old Navy Colt that was near as big as her arm. Scar-Cheek laughed, then saw her face in the light. Something flickered in his eyes. Maybe he hadn't expected the girl in the tree to live. The first shot came from Clara. The Colt boomed and the man on the left grabbed his shoulder. Horse rearing. Then the night exploded. Jed worked the Henry fast and sure, dropping 2 before they cleared leather. Scar-Cheek spurred straight at the porch. Jed's last bullet took him through the throat. The 4th man turned tail and vanished into the dark, leaving his friends bleeding in the snow. When it was over, the wind returned, blowing powder across the bodies. Spring thawed the ground. They buried the 3 in a shallow wash where the coyotes would finish the job. Clara never cried, not once. One morning, Jed found her at the corral, cinching a saddle on the little paint mare. "Thought I'd ride to Austin," she said. "See about school, maybe work at the mercantile." Jed chewed on that. "Road's long. Dangerous for a girl alone." "I ain't alone," she answered, meeting his eyes. "I got a father now, if he'll have me." Jed looked away toward the mountains. Eyes suddenly wet, though he'd swear it was just the wind. "Reckon the place could use 2 names on the deed," he said. Clara smiled, the first real one he'd seen. Bright as sunrise on new snow. Together they turned the horses toward home, the desert vast and empty behind them, but no longer lonely.